Hello. I almost had trouble with my internet connection there for a minute. Okay, today we're going to talk about, are you 3 feet from gold? Are you familiar with that story? I hope that my internet connection's okay. Okay, so I'm going to roll my intro and then I'll be back. Boom! Let's do this. Okay. Hi, everybody. Say hi to Sit Squatch. I have totally been into lemonade lately. This is my favorite cup from like 2002. I'm weird. Okay, so I've been thinking about some stuff lately, right? So I'm always talking about stuff like, are you 3 feet from gold? And I'm going to show you where that comes from really quick. I don't have a lot of, today's going to be more visual than sharing stuff, but it comes from this. Have you heard of this book, Think and Grow Rich? So you can see there's a whole bunch of versions on it. You want this one, Think and Grow Rich, and it says the original version. It says the edition that makes all others obsolete. Now I haven't. Oh well, God dang it! See, this is what happens. It doesn't go to the right one. So let me share it again. Somehow they're going to make StreamYard better. They have gotten better with a lot of things, but they'll make it better. Okay, so this is the one you want, the one that says makes all others obsolete. I don't know what makes it obsolete, but there you go. So this is what we're going to talk about today, the gold mine story. So this is like if you've been struggling and if you've been thinking about things and like just felt like giving up, okay? So the gold mine story, here's the story. It's from that book, Think and Grow Rich, okay? A man named Darby and his uncle were mining for gold during the gold rush. So they found some gold, they got excited, they bought equipment, and they kept digging. And then the gold disappeared. So they dug some more. And then they dug some more. And some more. And so eventually they became so concerned that there was no gold left. They sold their equipment to a junkyard owner and walked away. But the man who bought the equipment hired an engineer. That was a super smart idea on his part. So the engineer took a look and he discovered something incredible. The original miners had stopped digging at just 3 feet from where the gold vein continued. 3 feet. 3 feet from striking gold. And every time I hear that story or I see the story or I'm reminded of the story, I think of the same thing. How many times do we quit because we think the effort isn't working when the results just haven't shown up yet? Okay. So I'm on day 159 of consistent posts, right? So I've been posting a video, well, consistent videos every day, not day 365 or 1000, but day 159, not too far from half a year. Some videos have done pretty great. Some have flopped. Some I've been excited about. Some days I'm wondering what the heck I'm doing. And it got me thinking about something we all experience. It's the gap between effort and results. So this is when, like, have you ever thought, this is going to be a short one today, by the way. Have you ever felt like you're doing all the right things, but nothing seems to be happening? So like, maybe you're going to the gym. Hang on, sorry. Then you go to the gym, you're learning a language, you're trying to grow a business, you're trying to find a relationship, you're trying to make your relationship work, you're trying to save money, build a social media account. Whatever it is, the frustrating part is that the effort and results, they don't travel together. So efforts show up first, right? And results show up later. So sometimes later feels like forever. So this is what, you guys remember this. I started out with a 90-day challenge. And I started out with that because I wasn't thinking about a year-long project. I wasn't even thinking about today, day 159. Yeah, I got a comment. Yeah, but it's Pam. It's Pam. Struggles make you stronger. They do. They do. So sometimes I'm sick of them, though, like just like everybody, right? Like, I get it. we're pretty strong as individuals, right? But anyway, that's how you learn too. So this is a learning lesson too. There's another side to this story, but we're not going to talk about that today. So I was only thinking about day one, and I didn't think I was even going to make it 30 days, honestly. Like there's certain things I do really well, and then certain things I'm just and I'm a chronic procrastinator, and it's a problem, but I need to get a handle on it, you know? So a year was too overwhelming for me, but 90 days felt possible. And day one was not exciting, and day 30 wasn't exciting, and 60 is not exciting. But right now I'm on day 159 because I decided that I would keep showing up. And sometimes I don't even know what I'm going to post, and I think of something, and then I get all excited because I thought of some kind of cool creative idea, you know. Danae says I get knocked down. And I'm not going to say the rest because I don't know. I don't want to get flagged. I get up again and repeat. Exactly. That goes with like a lot of things in life, right? But thinking about my 90-day challenge thing, if you would have asked me on day one to even commit to 159 days, then I probably wouldn't have done that either. I probably wouldn't have started because I started smaller, it grew into something bigger. So put a high five in the, is there a high five in the emojis or whatever, a wave or something? If you have been feeling overwhelmed with starting a project because it's too big. So if I would have started too big, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have finished it. But because I made it smaller, I finished it. Okay. So this is, okay. So where I've seen this before, let me do this. Dun, dun, dun. This is in my life. Okay. I see it in real estate. Okay. I've had listings set on the market longer than expected. I've had buyers who took months or years finding the right house. I've had periods where business felt slow and I wondered if anything was happening at all. And then suddenly things start moving. I always say this because sometimes I take buyers out and they're like, oh, no, you know, this has been on the market 185 days. And I'm like, well, don't discount that. And they're like, we've got time. And then suddenly they've picked up another buyer. They go under contract, you know. Language learning. So right now I'm learning Norwegian. I've done over 1,200 days of Duolingo. There are streak freezes, and some months I'll have 3 or 4 streak freezes, but that still means only 3 or 4 days out of the month, and I'm still using those and continuing my progress. You know, there's a lot of days when, most days, I listen to Norwegian. I think the only word I can get is sammen. Oh, that means together. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, they just said something about a lamp. So the progress is real. It's just slow. And then if you think about athletics, so like if I think about Highland Games or anything, when you win. Okay, let's see. I got another comment. Danae says, Danae, good for you. Well, thanks. You're the best. I haven't seen you in a while. Okay, so athletics, like with the Highland Games. Well, or the Olympics, you know, anything like that, right? Like nobody becomes a world champion in a weekend. Nobody throws farther in the Highland Games or runs faster or whatever, only doing it twice. Unless you're just this weird phenom, but I've never seen that happen, right? Unless you're Hafthor Bjornsson, he comes out and in an exhibition for the WOB and he just throws a record. But that guy is a phenom, if you guys know who that is. World's strongest man. Okay, so results come from showing up over and over again, being consistent, right? So I see it in social media. Think about this. So this is going to sound silly. So I don't know if you remember, but like in January last year, in like March and April, I had like, I don't know, 42 subscribers, 52 subscribers. And 100 subscribers felt impossible. I don't want you can make fun of me, I guess, you know, because it's not that many, but I really am working on more. But I put a post up and I was like, could you guys please subscribe? And then I hit 100, like I think in a day or two. And now I get consistently more subscribers, like almost every once in a while, one in a day. I don't know who that is, Pam. I don't even know how to say that. Yusuf Dickus. That sounds really inappropriate. Sorry. I don't know who that is. God, I wish I could you guys could just pop on and say something. You know what I mean? Okay. So anyway, I had 100 subscribers and now I have 191. Woo. Ooh, I know. Hold yourself down. I didn't discover some secret formula, right? But I just kept showing up again and again. And what I figured out too is that people, at least with my content on YouTube, and Pam, if you'd like, you can describe that guy, unless it'll take too long. You can do it later in the comments and people can look. Sorry, maybe he's some cool Canadian guy. Or maybe I'm just a dumb A because I don't know who he is or I need to be reminded. But people like the shorts better than, like, hardly anybody watches this, my long form content. So this is funny because it's not, I'm trying not to make it that long, right? But I'll get like 2 views, 10, maybe 24. My what's his name? Garth Brooks thing. I think it's got 1,700 views or 2,000 something. I got one short that had 17,000 views. But I'm still doing this long form content because I've been doing this since 2018. I think on YouTube since 2020, maybe. I've got like almost 400 videos on there. So I figured, well, maybe someday somebody at some point will like it, or I'm still keeping my consistency and I still like to do it. Live on Facebook is awesome because people like you guys, Pam, the guy from Turkey who won a medal shooting at the Paris Olympics in 2024. Oh yeah. Thank you. Yeah. You know what? I didn't really watch. I've been in a weird place lately, but that's awesome, Pam. So I'll need to know this. People are going to think, oh my God, I've just been living under a rock, you know? But think about this. Maybe showing up is the formula, right? Because here's what happens to me all the time. People talk to me about, where did I put it? The niche convo, the niche. People always say to me, pick a niche, stay in one lane, follow the formula. Maybe they're right. I don't know. But the thing is, I enjoy what I'm creating, right? I enjoy it most of the time. And if I enjoy what I am creating, then I can keep going. So it's like, if I hate what I'm doing, then I'm going to quit. And isn't that the truth with anybody? Or if I'm feeling defeated, which I do sometimes. But if you think about it, consistency beats intensity, right? Sustainability beats perfection. And I always say perfection is boring. So I don't want to give up. I don't want to be the person that gave up 3 feet from gold, right? So here it is. What if you are 3 feet from gold? What if you are? So let's go back to the gold mine story. The miner, he didn't quit because he was weak or lazy. He quit because he believed there was no evidence. There was no gold. So the problem was that the evidence was incomplete. The effort hadn't produced the right results yet, right? So what if you're 3 feet from gold right now? Not literally, but what if you're 3 feet from gold in your business, your health, your confidence, your dream? What if you're closer than you think? And that's the part that gets me, right? Because Darby didn't stop 20 feet from gold or 50 feet. He stopped 3 feet. What is that? How what is that? That far? It's not that far, right? And it was close enough that somebody else brought in equipment, hired an engineer, and found the gold almost immediately. So imagine finding that out later. It's like when you go to the slot machines in Vegas or anywhere, and you sit there for a long time, and you don't win, you leave, and then someone comes in behind you, and then you win a bunch. Or maybe that happens to you. I mean, I'd rather be the person that hired the engineer in that story, right? So think about it as maybe you weren't failing, you were close. And then that's what sticks with me because most of us can't, we can handle failure. What keeps us up is wondering if we quit too soon. Have you ever thought about that? Like if I would have just done, one more workout, one more conversation, one more week, one more attempt, that might have changed everything. So when people are going for world records in the Highland Games, you're allowed 3 extra attempts. If you win, and especially if you're going for a world record, right? So you're tired and you're exhausted, and then you think, I'm only going to take 2 throws, but you were like an inch away from that world record. Then later on, you think, but what if I would have just done that one more throw? So the truth is, we'll never know. And Darby didn't know when he quit, but he certainly he knew later, right? So here's what Candor with Katie has taught me. Because honestly, I'd love for this to be a really big thing and actually have an actual podcast and whatever, right? But this is what the last 159 days have taught me. I've learned to show up when I don't feel like it, how to create consistency. That's huge for me. I know it may not seem like it. How to handle discouragement. We were always learning how to do that, right? How to finish what I start, how to be visible. Okay. Those lessons don't disappear, and efforts pay off. Effort pays you even before the results arrive. Is that part of the gold? This is the scary part. Dun, dun, dun. The scary thing about being 3 feet from gold is that nobody knows they're 3 feet from gold. They don't know, right? If we knew, if you were 3 feet from gold, you'd probably keep digging. And that's why people quit. It's not because they're weak. It's not because they're lazy. It's not because they're incapable. It's because from where they're standing, it looks exactly the same as failure. That's the tension, and that's the hard part. And that's why the story has survived for so many years, because all of us have been there, right? So now that I look like a Dumbo for not knowing who the guy was, I'll give you my final thoughts. And thanks, Pam and Danae, for commenting. Always, here's the final thought. Keep digging. Keep digging. So you remember that Finding Nemo? Just keep swimming. Maybe you should say, just keep digging. Because you might be 3 feet from gold. And that's the metaphor, of course, from whatever you're going through in your life, right? So what do you do? What happens when you keep putting in the effort and the results haven't shown up? I had a hard time this week, end of last week, and I was just like, maybe I should just quit doing this. And then I was like, now I'm to the point, because I was almost to, so say it was 148 days. I was like, well, I've done this far now. Now I don't want to give up. So sometimes, doing those small goals and then extending them. Have you ever got on a run? Like when I used to run a lot when I was younger, I'd be like, I'm just going to run a mile. Oh, I'm just going to go this much further. And you keep going. So what if you keep digging? Not forever, not blindly, but long enough to give your effort a chance to become results. Because maybe the breakthrough is still ahead. Maybe the lesson is there. Maybe the growth is still ahead, right? So you ask yourself, where in my life could I be 3 feet away? Right? Because maybe you're closer than you think. Maybe you're only 3 feet from gold. How cool is that? Honestly, if you think about it that way, that's a really cool thing to think about. Danae says, I feel like I'm on the edge of a breakthrough, but it's always just out of reach. Very frustrating. All right, so maybe we'll change that mindset there and say, you're 3 feet from gold, Danae. Okay, so kind of restructure or whatever and think about it, and you'll find it, you'll get it. Because I feel like that a lot. I feel like that in my real estate biz. This stuff, like, this doesn't make me any money. Posting it on all the things doesn't make me a cent. Well, actually, Facebook, I was making $25 a month. I know. Contain yourselves. But now it's like 2 or 5. Like they went from, like, I'll have views of like 4,000 and I'll make 12 cents. And I used to get like, 700 and I'd make like, I don't know, $1.98 or something. So it was never like a lot. I'd like it to be something at some point. I don't know where I'm going with it, but I don't want to stop 3 feet from gold before I figure it out, So thanks for joining me. Like and subscribe, because it'll make Sit Squatch and his tiny hiney very happy. Oh, he's not on here very well, so I don't want him to fall. He says the journey begins with you, so be good to yourself, right? Don't stop 3 feet from gold. And here's me. I love you. And I'll talk to you next week. Thanks for just this summer. I'll probably be back and forth with Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but I'll see you later. Bye.